When Princess Peach Showtime was announced last September, I knew I had to get it. I don't know if it was just because the game looked fun or I was still running off of the vibes from the Barbie movie and Eras Tour hype, but I pre-ordered it as soon as pre-order was available. And while this game is good, we've gotta talk about the issues I found with it. To lessen the blow of the harsh things I've gotta say, let's start with the things I really liked about the game. First off, the concept and style of this game is actually really fun. The gameplay feels a lot like Kirby, yet the game design-wise reminded me a lot of Luigi's Mansion 3. I also really like that Nintendo is branching out with Mario games and that they're making spin-off games on characters that are not Mario. I really like that Princess Peach Showtime lets you take on many different transformations within the game. Each of the transformations felt so unique, especially in what your objective would be for that specific level. Sometimes you could be a ninja trying to sneak past the enemy, next you could be a mermaid who uses her singing to make sure the show can go on. Or you could be a detective, trying to use your powers of intuition to solve a case. Although I've gotta say that Detective Peach is probably the worst detective I've ever seen. I really liked all the different roles I could take on in this game. It definitely added some spice and made it so it wouldn't get boring playing as one version of Peach for too long. Now for my rant about this game. While I liked how different this game was compared to other Mario games and how fun the different transformations of Peach were, I feel like it was a really simple game. Besides just using the joystick on your controller to move around, you literally only use A and B to jump and perform an action like punching or singing, and that's it. The levels were not that complex. And if I ever had a hard time in any part of the game, it was because I was just being a silly goose who forgot what she was supposed to be doing. Anyways, I don't really mind a game being simple, but if a game is simple, you have to have a lot of content during the first playthrough of the game. But I literally beat this game in less than 8 hours, which is nuts. What hurts even more is the fact I paid $60 or full price for a Switch game, just so that I could beat it so quickly. In my opinion, companies shouldn't charge full price for a game that doesn't have a lot of playtime on the first playthrough. In my opinion, 40 hours of playtime is preferable, but even 20 hours is acceptable. And I especially believe this if the game doesn't really make you want to play it again after beating it, and there's not some sort of online multiplayer options. Splatoon 3 is actually a really good example of a game that makes you want to return even after playing the story. I beat the story in about 10 hours, so it is really a short playtime for the main story, but I could see myself going back through the story for several reasons, such as finding more items for my locker. Plus, the game has a huge online multiplayer aspect that gives the game value after playing through the story. Princess Peach Showtime doesn't really have that. You kind of just play through the story and that's it, you're done. Sure, you could go through and 100% the game, but I don't really want to play through the story again. And that leads us into the next part of my rant, which is while the gameplay was cute and unique, the story was kind of trash. The main villain of this game is Madame Grape and her minions the Sour Bunch. And honestly, I have no clue what her motivation is for anything. She just wanted to take over the theater for some reason. Maybe she used to be a theater kid who never got the lead. Honestly, your guess is as good as mine. The thing with story games is the only way I will ever replay a story is if it is actually a good story. An example of a similar game I played through several times is Luigi's Mansion 3. It had a great story, great villains, great gameplay. While Princess Peach Showtime had fun gameplay, it didn't really have a great story or villain. All of these harsh words lead to this final point, which is I honestly don't think the game was worth buying, at least for the price I bought it at. I would have even been okay paying $30 or $40 for Princess Peach Showtime, but because of how simple the game is in gameplay and story, and the lack of replayability, I just don't think it's worth $60. Am I saying I didn't have fun playing it? Of course not. I did enjoy it, but that doesn't make up for how overpriced it is. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you should click that video on the screen right now. Oh, and maybe subscribe because, that'd be cool. Either way, until next time, happy gaming.